All right, Edge, this is week 2 of Last Words. What Last Words is, it's a series where we give people who are leaving Edge a chance to share their last words with the rest of us. And this week is a stacked, packed week. We have Char, Charlie, we have Esther, and Anne all sharing a little bit with us, and it's awesome. Char is sharing her last words with us, and Char is one of those people who is quiet. Once you get to know her, you realize that she is amazing. She is so smart, so funny, hilarious to be around, and she is also very, very wise, and she shares incredible things for us. So check this out.
Hey guys, I'm Char, and these are my last words. So I grew up in a Christian household. We went to church most weekends, but I didn't really know for sure what I considered myself. And for a long time I had a lot of different doubts about Christianity, and I never really had a close relationship with God or anything because I felt like these doubts somehow made me like a bad Christian. So I just kind of shoved them to the side. We don't need to worry about it. We don't need to question anything. And so eventually I read this devotional about doubt. It's called Room for Doubt. And it talks about how we often view doubt as the opposite of faith, with faith on one side of the river and doubt on another. But doubt really is the space in between. Doubt isn't the opposite of faith, disbelief is. And doubt is the opportunity to explore what you believe and discover more. So after reading that, I decided to look into my doubts, started going to Edge more, reading the Bible, praying, whatever I needed to find these answers I was looking for. And eventually I decided that I did believe in all of this. And while I still had a lot of doubts, I realized that that didn't prevent me from being a Christian. And so I just encourage all of you guys, whether you're exploring God for the first time or not, to look into your doubts and use it as an opportunity to grow in your faith. So once I got past most of my doubts, I was on this path. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna be a Christian, I'm gonna do this, going on my way. And I found myself making decisions and kind of knew I shouldn't be making some of these decisions, but I'm like, it's fine, it's whatever. And I realized I'd never sat down with myself and really decided how I want to live my life. And this is where obedience comes in, because in my head I knew what I believed, but I hadn't chosen to act that way. And we make obedience out to be this scary thing that makes you weak somehow, but really obedience is freeing, because once you decide to be obedient to God, you don't have to make any more decisions. I decide I want to follow God's plan for my life, and everything becomes so much easier, and I no longer have to internally struggle with all these thoughts. And so I'm not perfect at this or even good at it, I would say, but just having that mindset of obedience has helped me a lot on my walk with God. And the final thing I want to say is you can have faith, you can be obedient to God, but it's going to be very hard without a community to support you. And so having friends you can talk to about your faith, a place like Edge to go and worship with other people is so important, and I feel like we often underestimate the power that has. Community is a place where you can grow your faith, and you can push your boundaries, and you can also help others grow theirs. And Edge has given me some great friends that I plan on continuing to keep in touch with and talk about God, and we hold each other accountable. And it has really helped me. And once you find a community like that, I would encourage you guys to contribute to it, because I'm not a big public speaker. I don't really like doing it, but here I am doing last words, not because I necessarily wanted to, but I feel like my words can help some of you guys have the same experience I had with Edge. And I also know that my faith is going to be stronger because of sharing this. And I'll just go on a further journey with that. So no matter where you guys are right now, whether you're a Christian or not, I just encourage you to think about these things. Think about your doubts, explore them a little bit. Think about how you want to live your life. And just don't waste this time at Edge. Appreciate what you have and contribute to it when you can, because it does really amazing things.
Wow, Char, you killed it. And such great reminders for all of us that your doubts are actually an opportunity to grow in your faith, and the encouragement for us to analyze, how do I want to live my life, and do I want to live in obedience? And then finally, to get into community and to serve there. Those things are such great things to encourage people to do, because if you look at those things, that can transform your relationship with God the rest of your life. Charlie is a senior at Groves, just like Char, and he's only been going to Edge since like January, and I wish he'd started going sooner, because he is so much fun to be around, and he has some wisdom to share.
Hey guys, it's Charlie, and I just want to share a little bit of my story and my background, like in the church, and how I didn't take my faith super serious when I was little, and hopefully I can encourage you guys to start earlier and taking your faith a little more serious before you hit senior year. So basically, I came to Edge this year in January from Jocelyn and Lily, and it was a totally different experience from what I experienced before. Usually for me, I would just go to Mass on Sunday because I was forced to, because my parents went. They're both Christians, and I didn't really take any interest into it. I kind of daydreamed, fell asleep with my eyes open, and then asked how long I was asleep. Then, but now, like, Edge has like provided more interactive, more fun way to show my faith, I guess. So Trey's been doing a great job, and like Jackson and my small group leaders, and of course George. I love George. And it's just super fun, and like how we get to learn about different aspects of faith that we wouldn't learn typically in my church. And I wish I just started to go to Edge or a different form of church than just Mass before, because it really provides a new perspective into the Christian faith, and more, how do you say this? More, I don't have a word. But it's just great. I love it there, and it's just a super welcoming community. And I just encourage those who are younger and coming into Edge, those 8th graders, to take it seriously, because having someone there for you when you're alone is just awesome. Like, even in the dark and good times, it can be through a person or just having someone there that is mentally, spiritually next to you. To wrap things up, I just want to encourage you guys to take your faith more seriously when you're younger. God in the church has become way more interactive in my life in the past month than it has been in my entire life. So take your faith seriously.
Charlie, you're the man. Hey, and I love what you are telling us to do. Take our faith seriously. And I know that you wish you had done it sooner, but honestly, it's sooner than a lot of people. And for those of you watching, it's never too late to take your faith seriously. So start today, because it will transform the rest of your life. Thanks, man. Esther, this past year, was our intern extraordinaire, meaning that she did anything and everything. Esther is one of those people that if you know her, you know that she is generous with her time and with her just joy. You can't help but experience joy when you're interacting with Esther, and she is so servant-hearted. She led us in worship all this past year, also serving just in Edge, and also as a small group leader at Breakaway. And so as she's wrapping up her internship, she just wanted to share a few things with us. Listen up.
Hello, everyone. I want to share with you something God has been teaching me. I mean, it is something we learn all throughout our lives, but it has been especially present in my life recently. And that is to trust in God, even when I can't see the big picture, even in the midst of something that seems to have no end. To trust in Him and not to lean into my own understanding. Now, I am someone who likes to experience things in the depth of my soul. I have known that intimate relationship with God where I can feel His presence in everything. But I have also known times where I don't feel this, and that is really hard for me. Now, just a little background. I grew up knowing God my whole life, and for my whole middle school and high school years, I remember being on fire for Him and reading through the entire Bible. It took me 3 years because I'm a slow reader, but I felt so accomplished after that. Then when I was 17, we changed churches, and I lost my whole church family that I grew up with. And that was really hard. And I went through some ups and downs, and about 2 years ago, I was going through a time where I felt very stagnant in my faith, and I was lukewarm. And I remember I could feel these walls that seemed to be between me and God. And I started to pray specifically that He removes them, because I can't. And a few months later, He led me to Kensington and nudged me to start volunteering for Breakaway. And through that, I could feel the walls break down, and He lit the fire again in me. And I started to read my Bible every day, write in my prayer journal every day, and I could feel that intimate relationship with Him and feel His presence again in everything. Then I followed His nudge to volunteer for EDGE as well, and a bunch of other things, along with committing to do the internship. And everything was going great. Then last summertime came, and me and my family went through a lot of trials. And through that, I started to have panic attacks, and depression hit me pretty hard. But through it all, I was still praying to God, and I had already committed to doing the internship before all these trials hit me and my family. So I prayed to God if I should still do the internship, and I still felt I needed to do it. So a few months later, I started doing the internship, and I'm very thankful that I did. God has taught me a lot through this internship. That is, it has been hard on me mentally and physically, and I was really struggling with even wanting community. And I started to go through a time when I couldn't feel much, which was really hard to go through, and I felt like I couldn't hear God clearly or feel His presence again. And something that God has taught me through all of this is to continue to trust Him, to not lean on my own understandings. In Proverbs 3, verses 5 through 6, it says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make straight your paths." What I've learned is that my feelings and my emotions will lie to me. Yes, God gave them to us, but when sin entered the world, they were distorted along with everything else. So when my feelings and my emotions are raging and I don't feel God's presence, that's when I've learned to still lean into, cling to, and trust Him. Despite my emotions and feelings, God's truths and promises remain the same and always will. God is the one thing we can count on, and that will never change. And I've also learned that my emotions and feelings will change, and I won't feel the way that I did. Like they say, and it came to pass. It didn't come to stay. And now I'm in a season where I'm experiencing God in His presence again. And you know, He never really left me or is far away from me. I just felt like He was. But He has been with me through the midst of it and has gone before me and has seen my victory. There is this great quote by a man named Smith Wigglesworth. I love that name. He was a British evangelist, and this is what he said: "Great faith is a product of great fights. Great testimonies are the outcome of great tests. Great triumphs can only come out of great trials." I firmly believe what God says. He makes promises to us that all things will work for the good of those who love Him. And I have seen that in my life. So I encourage you to keep moving forward. Don't lean on your own understandings, and to trust God. I love you all. Thank you so much for being part of this chapter of my story. Bye.
Esther, your vulnerability is inspiring and encouraging, because we all struggle with anxiety and we all struggle with doubts that, is God there? We have those high moments with God where we feel like He is so close and we can hear Him. And then those low moments, always come, though, where we start doubting everything. And your encouragement that God is always with us, He never leaves us, and He will never forsake us, is what I think me and a lot of people need to hear. Thank you. Anne is a small group leader, and she has been with Edge for the past several years. And she is leading this group of senior girls, and I could not and they could not ask for a better leader. Anne gives her heart into everything she does. You can tell she's so passionate for the students she leads, and she loves Jesus. So she just wanted to share a little bit of wisdom and encouragement for everyone at Edge.
Hey guys, I am excited to address you guys today. It's a little sad, a little bittersweet. Some of you I won't see for a while, so it makes it a little bit sad. But I'm mostly excited because I just want to address all you guys first, addressing like all the artists, academia, athletes, the populars, the floaters, the loners. How about the techies and the music nerds? To all my theater geeks and my Jesus freaks, right? So cheesy, yeah, but you know what? We've had an incredible year. A lot of pain, a lot of upset. There's a lot of fear going on with this, and I actually directly am going to just jump to a verse, Proverbs 3:5. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on our own understanding. We can't do this on our own. And I've learned over and over again that the one true constant in my life is God, and going to His Word is the one thing that gives me peace on things that I can't understand. And I wish, and my prayer and my wish for you is that you guys already knowing this at a young age, that it's something that you just continuously return to in all cases. I know that student ministry, I'm asked often why I'm in student ministry and how is it that I can work with teenagers, and I don't know if it's my own immaturity or it's just the connections. And I know that even through my kids and my adult, now that they're adults, that they still lean on their mentors, and they still make an impact even on them, even from being young children and now into their adult life. And I think connections are far and few. And the importance in that makes every difference in making life decisions and doing life together. Do I think it was a coincidence being placed into my small group these past few years? No, I don't. I think me personally being placed with girls who suffer and deal with anxiety and hard choices. My girls have also had issues, family life, dealing with divorce. Yeah, I don't think that was a coincidence at all. And in turn, being placed in a mentorship with girls in Nepal for hairdressing, that's just far too specific. So for me, no, my life experiences, my life upsets, my big mistakes and my rewards all led me to these moments because I know and I understand them as being gifts from God. And with it being a gift from God, it's my duty to share them with the world and to others. Romans 8:28, and we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. Will I worry about you all? Yes, I will definitely worry about you. I worry about students in general. I worry about my own kids also. But for you guys have been given so many tools. I don't worry about you as much because the tools that you've been given these past few years during high school, I wish I had. I say that over and over again to students, but it's something, you have tools to create genuine relationships. You have tools to do life outside of your home without fear and anxiety. You have tools to have a true solid faith in your college years. You have tools to teach and mentor others. You've learned to have a servant heart. You have learned to have peace with others and maybe with yourself. You've also learned to understand brokenness and hurt. And in turn, you've also learned to understand that and to have forgiveness. These are lifelong tools that you will always have. I think making choices with your life and realizing that your gifts are the way that you will serve God will be huge in your future lives. Philippians 4:6-7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts, your mind, in Christ Jesus. I end with my hope and my prayer for you guys that you go through life just living with the curiosity of a child, just to pursue God, and that you have the wonder and the eyes of a child, just to know what He wants you to know in all things, and continue through your life with the hunger for God, that you will continue to know Him and to hear from Him first, and through all things. You guys, I love you. I will miss some of you, but I know I will stay connected. I pray for everyone, for their families, for their lives, for their future selves, and it has been a pleasure to serve with you all. I love you guys. Peace.
And we love you. You are amazing. And just thank you so much for the time and energy that you have given to your students and to Edge. I don't know what Edge would be like without you, and I'm not looking forward to seeing what it looks like next year without you, but hey, I guess we'll figure it out. But thank you so much for sharing. And your encouragement that these students do have the tools they need to be successful in life and in their walk. That's so true. And I love that Esther and Anne both landed on this verse, Proverbs 3:5. That's trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will make your paths straight. That is encouragement for us to take note of, and to follow, and to listen, and to believe. Because honestly, when we try to do life on our own, we mess it up. But when we put our lives in God's hands, follow and obey Him, He will make our paths straight. Thank you, Anne.